Heather, have you ever heard the phrase, preservation is key?
Yeah, usually when someone's trying to convince me not to throw out something that they want to retain from college that's seen its better days.
So the shirt that I'm holding when Theo comes out of the womb in the first picture, it's one of my favorite college shirts.
You can keep that. That has a memory. But not just, one of your 57 random frat shirts that has holes in it and has lived in the back of the drawer for 18 years.
They're comfy. Well, today, it's not about my ratty t-shirts. Apparently you and Katie have been talking.
Oh, yeah.
It's about bourbon. And not just any bourbon. We're talking about Preservation Estate pot distilled bourbon straight out of Bardstown, Kentucky.
Oh, Bardstown, the Napa Valley of bourbon. This place where the air smells like caramel and probably some regret.
Regret like subscribing to this channel? Because...
Don't forget, if you're new here and you haven't yet, like and subscribe.
Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us. We try to do 3 of these a week because Heather doesn't like me to have a life. So
that's it.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're interested in connecting with us, and she's really interested in connecting with you, she lives for this.
Clearly this is all about me, so...
Most things are. So if you want to connect with us, please check out our social media links to the Facebook, Instagram, and the artist formerly known as Twitter. We really appreciate it. And in fact, we're getting some show ideas from you, and we're trying to fulfill those as they come in. So thanks, and welcome to the family.
That's right. And if you have any more, send them our way. We just might incorporate them.
Now,
so back to Bardstown.
Back to Bardstown.
So the regrets I see people having when they leave Bardstown is that they didn't stay in Bardstown long enough.
To get more bottles
of
bourbon.
To get more bottles of bourbon.
And that's true. But being we're here now, and we've got it on the barrel, and a friend of us has lent this to us, let's talk about Preservation Distillery. Now, what we've been told is this place is a hidden gem. Why have we been told that? Because we're still trying to get to Bardstown. That's what you're for, subscribers. Keep liking and subscribing. We'll be able to convince my wife that we need to do a road trip with the camera. It is small batch, family owned. They do everything in terms of distilling, 100% pot distilled.
Which, that's actually rare in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Most big name distilleries use column stills. I don't know why I felt the need to show you all what a column was, but there you go. Column stills. Because they're more efficient. Pot stills are pretty old school, and it's the kind of thing now that you expect from Scotland, not from bourbon country.
Yeah, pot stills mean richer, fuller flavors. At least people who use pot stills will tell you they mean richer, fuller flavors.
Well, obviously.
I'm sure that people at New Riff aren't telling you that in their column still.
No.
But they're also a whole lot more work. Now, that they all agree on. That's why fewer distilleries use them. And a column still, I think it's easier to keep going continuously. And I don't know all the physics behind that. But the column still is, it's when we learn about them, better for continuous production.
Right.
And less cleaning.
Yeah. So this place actually started as a historic tobacco farm, right?
That's correct. 40 acres of Kentucky history turned into a bourbon haven. It's founded by Marcy Palatella, we think. We know it's Marcy Palatella. We're not positive that's how she says her last name. Marcy, if you're watching,
drop a comment.
Yeah, like and subscribe. But we always are impressed with women who run distilleries and businesses.
Just because it really is breaking a glass ceiling.
Yep.
So obviously I love to see it. B loves to see it. Another fun fact about them is that they focus on sustainability and they use all local ingredients, which we try to profile that when we can find it. We haven't had one in a while only because we've been doing a lot of the heavy hitters.
Yep.
So it's good to bring back in someone who's really focusing on those local artisans. That means you can feel good about yourself while drinking it too. In case you need justification for drinking bourbon, which we're past that. But if you still need it, there you go.
Yeah, I don't need an excuse to look at this. It looks gorgeous.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So let's look at some tasting notes here.
I guess we got to start with smell first,
right?
Yeah,
smell and tasting notes.
Because I was able to smell this from back here.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to get, B?
So they're telling us on the nose we should get some rich caramel and toasted vanilla, and maybe some baked apple and nutmeg.
Okay. I'm going to give it to him on the baked apple.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to him.
And a baked apple to me has, as I'm sure it does to most people, a cinnamony smell because I associate it with
with apple pie.
Apple pie.
Yeah. Or even, but it's even stewed apples. Like,
Yeah.
did you grow up eating stewed apples?
Yeah.
It has a little bit of that. And the nutmeg makes sense with that, too. Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes in your stewed apples, there's cinnamon.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, if they're making them right, there better be some
Yeah,
cinnamon.
I mean, if you don't want this to be good for you, put some sugar on that.
What do y'all
bad
do?
boy.
Put some brown sugar?
Yeah, put brown sugar
Brown
in that.
sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg.
Don't want to taste the apples. We want to taste the candy.
Why would we want to retain any nutritional value? What is wrong with you?
And rich caramel. And I would also like to toss out there, it is gorgeous.
It's a beautiful color.
I mean, that is...
And I mean, the bottle is really cool too. I mean, it looks like a wine bottle, obviously. Let's
This
all
is amber
acknowledge that.
Amber waves of grain. It's gorgeous.
It is a pretty color. I'm also getting some oak on the smell, which is like saying, hey, bourbon is brown. But,
All right.
but it is only not only, it's aged 6 to 7 years. So there's some oak there.
At least they're telling us.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that is one thing we really like about this bottle. We were talking about it beforehand. They put everything on here.
Yeah, they've got the pot still, the age, the mash bill, the region and origin, the proof, obviously, which they have to have, the distillation process, the tasting notes, and the lot number. Good for them.
Good for them. I'm definitely getting. I think their nose points are spot on.
Yeah, and the caramel is right underneath that apple spice, and that's good.
It's one of the first times I've really gotten that baked apple smell. Because a lot of times I feel like caramel or vanilla kind of overwhelm it.
Yep.
But this one, the baked
And they should
apple
blend
is there.
nicely.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to taste this
That's
one.
fantastic.
So what are we supposed to taste?
Well, bold, full-bodied flavors. That's what they tell us right there on the bottle. But what it also says is think about toffee, dark chocolate, so there you go,
Yay!
warm baking spices, and then a little bit of roasted nuts.
There you go.
Yeah, and I mean, that's obviously come from a nice charred barrel.
Yeah. And this actually is 116 proof, so it's not a low one.
No.
But the smell is not overpowering, in my opinion.
No, in fact, I'm going to be... My hopes are getting up.
Me too.
Their bottle marketing is phenomenally good.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think this is a small distillery. It makes me think artisan.
Artisan is the word
And
for sure.
You did mention it's a wine bottle, but it's kind of got this cool look to it.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like we found this.
This feels very Napa winery.
It does.
Yeah. And I mean that
Yeah.
in the best way.
Yeah.
I'm ready to try it.
Absolutely.
The taste hits harder than the smell. Ooh.
Every bit of 116 proof.
Yes, sir. You get a lot of oak on the flavor. Once you get past the 116 proof.
Now let's be clear. This is a mash bill of corn and harvest wheat, dark toasted. This is
It has no rye.
This has no rye.
Which is a little surprising on the flavor profile. Yeah, this is a wheated bourbon. Because look.
Mm-hmm.
That does not taste like a wheated.
It does in the front.
Fair. But yes, that's true.
The front is a nice caramel. It tastes to me more like a... Lately we had a really nice wheat whiskey. Was it Barrel? Who did it? We had a good wheat
We've had a lot
whiskey.
of good wheat recently.
But it wasn't wheated. It was a wheat whiskey. And it was...
I remember what you were talking about.
This has some of those characteristics.
Not the characteristics. Yeah,
But it was
I
also a
agree.
little darker than a wheat whiskey. But
Now that's going to drive me crazy because I can picture what you're talking about.
Flavors I'm getting. I mean, caramel up front. Their description of bold.
Is on point.
Absolutely. It does have dark chocolate bitter.
Yeah.
Cocoa bean.
And then the deep toasted oak is spot on too.
This is a coffee drinker's bourbon.
That's a really good point.
This is a coffee drinker's bourbon, which means
I like it.
it's a bee's bourbon.
It's not playing around.
No.
This is not. You will never hear the words mellow, subtle,
No.
easy sipper. Like this hits. This is one of those that
When they put in the tasting notes, the first word is unique.
It is. It's unique, and this is one that I think you maybe work up to in the night, and then you're ready to hit something that has some a bold blast of flavor.
A word that I've used lately is viscosity. And we're all proud of
He
my
is so
language.
proud because they have viscous on the back of this. So this is another one too that I'm liking more and more the more and more it opens up. The dark chocolate's coming through.
A lot of times wheated bourbons are not as thick feeling. This has a little mouth.
Yeah, it has a mouthfeel. And like I said, it's opening up for me. I get the dark chocolate more towards the finish. Not at the very end, but towards the finish.
Preservation. If you have one of these that you can leave in a barrel for about 4 more years.
You'd make B's life. He's a happy camper.
Oh, yeah. So, and that, the breathe out, you get oak, but it is not smooth oak. It is smoky oak. It is
toasted.
wood.
It's
a
toasty.
Deep toast. It's deep toast.
It's a deep toast.
Yeah. Don't think butter bread.
Again, this is not light, subtle. This isn't sweet. Like, this is a dainty bourbon. This is like it's kind of it puts me in mind, not necessarily flavor profile, but kind of like Garrison Brothers, where it's like you're sitting down to drink bourbon.
Okay,
you're not playing around.
Yeah.
Not same flavor profile, but more. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
You don't sit somebody down that's like, oh, I like a mellow 80 proof sweet, and be like, here you go.
No, do not do a comparison with this and Basil hate.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is for the person that's like, you know what, I like to take the paint off of a 57 Chevy sometimes. Tyler, we're coming for your 57 Chevy. What do you rate this?
Damn good. It's complex.
It is complex. It's bold, and I like that they tell you that. Oh, one thing I forgot to get to say on the tasting note, I do get along with that dark chocolate. I do get the toasted nut a little, not peanut, but a toasted nut.
So here's where the wheated stands out to be. If you're one that likes to chew and swirl, the heat's not in the front at all. So it's not like it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer. It's not doing that rye thing. So this is all, to me, it's all got this nice back end punch.
But it mellows out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But
it doesn't. It doesn't have the dragon tail.
It doesn't have a. In the beginning, I think we were both a little surprised because we're like, "There's no." But now, the more I taste it, I'm not tasting. Well, I better not be tasting rye, but it does have. It is not. We just had sweet wheat and a few other wheateds, and they're sugary.
Right.
They're dessert.
Comparatively speaking.
Comparatively.
Yes.
And so I saw wheated. What are they going for? I read the tasting notes, but my brain is still thinking wheated, and
also the smell doesn't necessarily translate to the flavor on this one. It smells like a little sweeter than it tastes.
I'll go with that. But the smell is very inviting.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just saying it's a little bit of a different profile. Like, I don't taste baked apple.
No.
I'm a fan. I'm going to rank it Hush Your Mouth.
It's at least a Hush Your Mouth. If we sit here for too long, it will become a cock of the walk.
I started to say, the more that breathes and the more you sip it, I think it's going to come up to that level.
The more you drink it. And I'd also
At 116 proof, it won't take too much.
So now I'm Preservation. We're going to be reaching out, and here's why. Number one, what is the cast strength? Because you can't be watering that down too.
No. Number two, can you give us your percentages on your mash bill?
Yeah, we had wheat penny yesterday.
We did. That's a good. It's a lower proof point.
It's a lower
but
proof
the flavor
point.
profile
It has some similarities. There's a little more cherry in the wheat penny, but
because it's aged in a dark cherry oak barrel. Yeah.
It's finished differently. But in the sense that it's not your traditional wheated.
Well, and I love that wheat, and I could pretend right now like this was on purpose. It was just one of those lucky happenstances. I feel like the 4 wheateds that we did our sweet wheat episode on were 4 very traditional wheateds. And I'm glad we started
on purpose.
Was it on purpose? Okay,
Yeah.
It was on purpose. It wasn't on purpose for me. I give all that credit to B. It was... He's so humble. But I'm glad you started us that way because it got us like that baseline flavor palette for wheateds, and now we can kind of pull out those differences sometimes.
Well, to quote Bob Ross, it was kind of a happy mistake because the reason we started with those is they're the ones that were the most readily available to us.
So we had them.
Well, yeah, they're the
Other
ones
than
that,
the sweet wheat that, you had to get a little sketchy to get.
Yeah, but it still came from 1792.
Right.
This
Right.
wasn't from, I'm going to use the term mom and pop because obviously it's a bigger than a mom and pop organ. But
a more boutique distillery.
they were not boutique distillery offerings. But this obviously is, and we're going to have to land one of these. Final thoughts?
Hush your mouth. Really glad I tasted it. Really loving something that's a little bit different. What about you?
It's a post-dinner bourbon. It's fantastic.
So until our next one, we drank all of that.
We
got
got
enough.
a little bit.
We got enough.
A little bit. We'll spin it.
All right, y'all. Let us know if you've had it or if you're about to try it. Until then,
Cheers,
cheers
y'all.
y'all.